I think the thing to do is enjoy the ride while you're on it. People say I make strange choices, but they're not strange for me. My sickness is that I'm fascinated by human behavior, by what's underneath the surface, by the worlds inside people. My favorite color is black. The only creatures that are evolved enough to convey pure love are dogs and infants. Life's pretty good, and why wouldn't it be? I'm a pirate, after all. I don't pretend to be Captain Weird, I just do what I do. As a teenager, I was so insecure. I was the type of guy that never fitted, and because he never dared to choose, I was convinced I had absolutely no talent at all for nothing, and that thought took away all my ambition too. Tomorrow it'll all be over. Then I'll have to go back to selling pens again. I'm an old-fashioned guy. I want to be an old man with a beer belly sitting on a porch looking at a lake or something. I have this fear of clowns, so I think that if I surround myself with them, it will ward off all evil. Me, I'm dishonest, and you can always trust a dishonest man to be dishonest. Honestly, it's the honest ones you have to watch out for. With any part you play, there is a certain amount of yourself in it. There has to be, otherwise it's just not acting, it's lying. Puberty was very vague. I literally locked myself in a room and played guitar. There's a drive in me that won't allow me to do certain things that are easy. I was 1,000,000% in love with Edward Scissorhands. I remember looking in the mirror on the last day of shooting and thinking how sad I was to be saying goodbye to Edward. I am doing things that are true to me. The only thing I have a problem with is being labeled. You grow up a bit damaged or broken then. You have some success, but you don't know how to feel good about the work you're doing or the life you're leading. I like the challenge of trying different things and wondering whether it's going to work or whether I'm going to fall flat on my face. I may have a feather duster down my pants. There's definitely healing properties to being in proximity to the ocean and that breeze. There's something about that Caribbean climate and humidity. There's definitely healing properties to being in proximity to the ocean and that breeze. There's something about that Caribbean climate and humidity. Am I a romantic? I've seen Wuthering Heights 10 times. I'm a romantic. When I can focus on something like guitar or painting, I do. I started painting people I admire, like Kerouac, Bob Dylan, Nelson Algren, Marlon Brando, Patti Smith, my girl, my kids. You use your money to buy privacy because during most of your life you aren't allowed to be normal. How many chances do you get to make a musical about a serial killer? The minute Tim Burton approached me, I was in. I don't go anywhere without a book by James Joyce called Finnegan's Wake. If you catch me saying I am a serious actor, I beg you to slap me. I don't know if I can relax, I can't do my brain. On idle is a bad thing, I just get weird, not weird, I get antsy. At my very core, I'm pretty shy. I just happen to have a weird job. I went through various stages in my childhood, as we all do. Various stages of obsessions with people and things, and I did. I wanted to be the first white Harlem Globetrotter. I have a place that I get to go to in the Bahamas. It's the only place that guarantees total anonymity and freedom. I'm shy, paranoid, whatever word you want to use. I hate fame. I've done everything I can to avoid it. I pretty much try to stay in a constant state of confusion just because of the expression leaves on my face. The idea of dancing is the only thing that scares me. Trips to the dentist, I like to postpone that kind of thing. When you disrespect Australian law, they will tell you firmly, declare everything when you enter Australia. What I love to do is paint people's faces, their eyes, because you want to find that emotion, see what's going on behind their eyes. I want to be ruler of the exumas. I like the sound of it. I want to become Kurtz and live like a Lord of the Flies. At 13, I was wearing plain t-shirts. Then I used to steal my mom's clothing. She had all these crushed velvet shirts with French-cut sleeves and liked seersucker bell-bottoms. Wes Craven was the guy who gave me my start, from my perspective, for almost no reason in particular. Captain Jack Sparrow is like a cross between Keith Richards and Pepe Le Pew. Captain Jack Sparrow is like a cross between Keith Richards and Pepe Le Pew. There are necessary evils. Money is an important thing in terms of representing freedom in our world. And now I have a daughter to think about. It's really the first time I've thought about the future and what it could be. The beauty, the poetry of the fear in their eyes, I didn't mind going to jail for. 5, 6 hours? It was absolutely worth it. There is nothing on earth that could ever make me want to relive certain years of my life when I was young. Edward Scissorhands was tough to let go of because I found real safety in allowing myself to be that open, that honest, to explore purity. It was a hard one to walk away from. I've had the honor and the pleasure and gift of having known Elizabeth Taylor for a number of years. You sit down with her. She slings hash. She sits there and cusses like a sailor, and she's hilarious. If someone is being bullied or feels like an outsider, and they relate to something that I have done, even if it's just igniting a spark, that's great. I had that feeling as a kid. I was messed with no end. When I met people, they said, "You do look like a hobo, but you smell really good." Over the years, all these vampire movies have come out and nobody looks like a vampire anymore. Nobody's ever made a film in the history of cinema where they weren't expecting some return on their dough. The only gossip I'm interested in is things from the Weekly World News, woman's bra bursts, 11 injured, that kind of thing. It's an odd thing when there is a fan page for my daughter who is not yet 13. When I played Tanta in The Lone Ranger and was playing the older Tanta, I would just leave the makeup on and go to sleep Because it was a 4 or 5 hour job, it was, from the waist up, all over me. I was angry and frustrated until I started my own family, and my first child was born. Until then, I didn't really appreciate life the way I should have. But fortunately, I woke up. There are times when you see how ridiculous is this life, how ludicrous it is, leaving your house every morning and being followed by paparazzi. It's good to experience Hollywood in short bursts, I guess, little snippets. I don't think I can handle being here all the time. It's pretty nutty. I was the guy who had been bouncing around the film industry 4 years, and I'd been lucky if 5 or 10 people would see my movies. So Captain Jack did a big flip for my career. When I was 12, I wanted to learn how to play the guitar, and I found a chord book in a shop, and I stuffed it down my trousers, and that's how I learned to play the guitar. The term serious actor is kind of an oxymoron, isn't it? Like Republican Party or airplane food. I made odd noises as a child, just did weird things. Like turn off light switches twice. I think my parents thought I had Tourette's syndrome. I was ecstatic they renamed French fries as freedom fries. Grown men and women in positions of power in the U.S. government, showing themselves as idiots. Everything is just very, very blurry. I've never had proper vision. I always have a decompression period at the end of a film. Sometimes it's joyful because you're just happy to be done, or it can be melancholy. One of the most beautiful things in the world is seeing a mommy with her kids. There's nothing more beautiful, nothing more sublime. I remember in that red leisure suit I sort of felt like a Pizza Hut employee, and the white one was the ultimate with the white turtleneck collar. That was the ultimate in bad taste. For me, it's always more difficult and slightly exposing to play something that's close to yourself. I always like to try to hide just because I can't stand the way I look. I'm just an actor, and if I can leave something behind that my kids will be proud of, then that's what I want. I don't want my kids to be embarrassed by anything I've done. When you have children, there is no room for lies, no room for anything but the truth. Anything other than that is a bad example, I believe. Anything I've done up till May 27th, 1999 was kind of an illusion, existing without living. My daughter, the birth of my daughter, gave me life. I don't want to run around and look at a shot through a monitor. That doesn't improve what I'm trying to do. I figure, once I've done my job, it's none of my business. It's been insane from Whitey Bulger to the Mad Hatter. You can imagine the schizophrenia. I guess I'm attracted to these offbeat roles. Because my life has been a bit abnormal, the only thing I have a problem with is being labeled. There's an innocence to Ozzy Osbourne. He's mingling, but he's somewhat detached. When I auditioned for 21 Jump Street, it was a last-minute thing. I had one of the worst flus that I've ever experienced in my life, and I was forced to go to the audition, the screen test. For a long time I tried to manage an honesty and openness about my personal life because I'm human and I'm normal. Well, semi-normal. I never wanted to be the guy people looked at. I don't think of myself as being a celebrity. It's too mortifying. My job as an actor is to give the director options. You can only hope that the takes that you thought were the best were chosen. But then again, if I don't watch it, I'll never know. It's funny, because what happens to me when I read a script, when something grabs hold of me, I start getting these flashes of people or places or things or images. With my kids, they're told 75 times a day that they're loved. One thing I know is they feel loved and secure and happy and needed and necessary and a part of something. When you're confined to a TV series and you have to play one character, it can make you insane, but it didn't affect me. I got out in time. It's all kinds of these profound things crashing on you when your child arrives into the world. It's like you've met your reason to live. The quality of life is so different in France. There is the possibility of living a simple life. I would never contemplate raising my daughter in LA. I would never raise any child there.